Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is The Rugged Guide. I'm Fraser, and it's been a long time since I've been posting anything here on the channel, so I apologise for that, but I've had a lot going on, as you all have, I'm sure, what with lockdown and changes of everything. I started a new bike business last year, and that's been massively busy over the summer months with lockdown and the COVID and everybody trying to get some exercise, which has been good, because obviously I was on furlough like many of you. But I wanted to share with you a little project that kept me sane over the lockdown. Now, it's finished, but I want to just sort of introduce you to what it is. So basically it's a camper van. It's something that I decided that my family would benefit from during lockdown. We could go out and we could go and explore places without sort of spending a lot of money, and we're not going abroad, and it gave us the opportunity to spend perhaps what we would have spent on a family holiday on building a camper van. So what I've done is I've basically used this as a prototype. So this is a very old van. It's a 56 plate, so 2006 van. It's a Nissan Prima style, which is similar to a Renault Traffic or Vauxhall Vivaro, I think it is. Only paid £900 for the van, which was an absolute steal. I'm really pleased with it. Had to spend a lot of money on the mechanicals, and so it's safe and everything else reliable. But I've done the whole build. The whole budget for this build has been £3,000, and I've done it in a way that it's modular. So I wasn't sure how I wanted it, because it was like, right, you're in lockdown, you can't go on holiday, so what are you going to do? So I thought, right, we'll build a van, we'll do it quickly, we'll do it, basically get out there and enjoy it. And it gave me the perfect chance to actually build something and live with it without spending too much money. So it's a bit rough and ready, and I don't mind that, because the idea is that if I didn't like it, I could rip it out and put it back in again. I've not spent a load of money. There's some really nice ideas that I've come up with. I think that I haven't. They're not all my ideas. I've taken inspiration from other camper builds, to be completely honest with you. But I've used all those things to fit my lifestyle. And I think it's really important when you're doing a project like this that you're honest with yourself and realistic about your needs. I mean, I've built camper vans in the past out of ambulances, out of like long wheelbase high top Iveco vans, which are just enormous, and I've not used them because they don't practically suit the lifestyle that I had at the time. They were just a bit of a dream. So I started this project with my family in mind, and how it would be useful, basically so my other half would let me build it. So it's not for everybody, but if you like some of the videos we've done, or I've done in the past, and you're into your camping, you're into camper vans, you're into a bit of overlanding, there's so many elements that have been introduced into this build that I think it's really worth a watch. So I'm going to break it into a few different videos. This is just an introduction. I'm going to run you around the interior today, because it's not great outside. Now, just show you the concept. Now, I apologise in advance. There's no video here of me actually doing the work. It's not that exciting, it's not that interesting, but I'm going to explain what I did and how I did it and why I did it as we go along. So feel free just to have a little look. I'm going to try, I haven't done this in the past much because I'm quite lazy, but I'm going to try and list in the description as many links and sort of things that would be useful for you guys if you want to do something similar. But please bear in mind, I know the comments always come, and that's fine, but this is not a finished project. The whole idea of this was to build something that didn't cost a lot of money, that I could change, swap, get rid of, do whatever I wanted to it, so that next year I'm going to buy a brand new van and do a brand new conversion, which I will film and I will cover everything, but I'll know exactly what I want and why I want it, and I've only been in that position because I've built this camper. So let me show you around. So I'm going to start with the swivel seat that I put in place. Now, this obviously is a 3-seat up front van, as you can see here, and one of the biggest investments was on this swivel base. Now, this is purchased from eBay. They're varying price, and I paid £250 for this delivered, and I'm really pleased with it. Its installation wasn't easy. It was basic, but it's very tight tolerances on this seat base, and it's really well made and it's really solid. And in principle, it works really well. But I'm showing you that because obviously, if I go into why I built the van, basically had to accommodate a family of 4. So we've got 2 young kids, and as my partner and I, and that's really important to stress, because ideally the van was going to be a a mode of transport for us all. So it had to work really well and really safely as a mode of transport. So if I pan round now, so we've got the kitchen area here, which I'll show you again in a minute. And then in the back, again, the biggest investment with these was this seat. Now, it's a seat that's come out of a Transit Custom van, passenger van. So it's got an Isofix in it, which was really important for us because our youngest is in an Isofix, you can see there. And it doesn't fold down. Now, I'll come to that a little bit later, but that had a major influence on the design of this vehicle. So if I now sit in this swivel chair, you'll be able to see we've got a lot of room in the van. Now, the way I've laid it out, a lot of people would have the seats sort of up front here, so you've got a lot more storage space behind. But I had to use the base of the seats here as the base of my bed. So it's got like a queen size bed in the middle here, and it uses the base of the seat there as where your feet go. And I'll show you that again later in another video. I'll get the bed out and everything and show you how it works. But for this video, I'm just going to quickly do a little run round. So basic cabinets. Now, I didn't do it out of MDF. I wanted to do it out of ply. I like the look of ply. But what's really important, the finish is very poor because I don't have a circular saw table. I did it all with a jigsaw. During lockdown, a lot of the B&Q near me, their wall saw wasn't working, so I had to do it all by hand, which is okay. It wasn't a big deal, but it was a little bit of a shame because the finish isn't great. But needless to say, the ply was easy to work with, and I like the strength of it. And I tried lots of different thicknesses. So you'll see we've got 9mm, we've got 12, we've got 15mm, all for different sort of uses. So if I just show you here, we've got storage area there. That's our split charge power pack that I've taken out of an old Land Rover that I went overlanding with. So I've used it, repurposing that in there. Now I've got enough cable to actually move that into the bottom of that storage locker there, which I'm probably going to do, so that whole area there will be good for storage. So we've got books, we've got your cooking utensils and everything in there. We've also got good storage underneath the seats, which I will eventually have as a drawer system, but I've just got IKEA plastic buckets in there with all the stuff that we need when we go camping. So we've got all our cleaning products, all our plates, mostly plastic. These little things on here, really good. So you can drive around with these. I just like the way they're coloured and they just break up the wood a little bit inside. But these are our food plates and cups and utensils in there. Inside here we've got another storage area. That's got the thermal blinds in there. More of that later. And it's all quite a tight fit, as you can see. So no, don't want things rattling around. Very cheap and simple lighting circuit here. So for the lighting, which is basically the last thing I did, I just used these very cheap LED adhesive strip lights, which are really great, but they're rubbish at sticking to stuff, so they all have to be glued on. I've got 4 switches. I only really needed 2. I ended up using 3 because I've got one big one across the top there. And I've also got mood lighting, which I suppose you could say, in here. And that's quite nice when you're going to bed. When the kids want a bit of light, you can just have the light on there and you can turn the rest off. So we've got lights all round. Windows, again, this I'll show you from the outside. We've got one opening window, which is this one. The other 2 don't open, and really that was for a budget standpoint. Didn't want to spend a lot of money. These were only 70 quid each, whereas the opening one was 130, so it's a big price difference. Wanted one to be open, but that was enough for me. So this rather ugly looking thing here is, it's only there because I had it in storage. I purchased it originally, it was going to go on the outside of a very old camper that I'd built, access for the gas canisters, but I never used it, so it's waterproof and everything. But it's a nice big, easy to fit door with a plastic frame, and it was just really simple to get in there, and it's good and solid. But at the end of the day, I would probably prefer to have a nice wooden door that matches the rest of the van. But for this particular application, it worked and it was easy to do. And that just shows you what some storage area we've got there. So that whole area there, that whole wardrobe is basically full of all sorts. It's mostly chairs. Well, I couldn't even tell you what's in there, but it's full. We've got water storage in there, which again I'll go into later, that you access from the outside. But it's a really big space, and also, you know, you've got a space at the top here for coats and sleeping bags, soft goods, soft items that aren't going to hurt anybody if they fall off while you're driving. I mentioned the seat before, so I'll come back to that later. Again, this is another storage area which has got all our sleeping gear in. So all our sleeping bags, camp mats, air beds and everything are in there, and you access them from the back, which has worked fine at the moment. I suppose if it was raining, you'd have to get wet to get them out. That's the only negative, but I mean, nothing's perfect. Initially, I put this power socket area on here. This is connected to the constant live of the vehicle, so I can't use it for much. It was just for the kids really to sort of power their iPhones and, well, not their iPhones, are not old enough, but for their iPads and things like that, just so that they'd have some power. And also I do use this as a mobile office sometimes, so it's quite useful to have. Now, I like this build, and I think it suits me down to the ground. I really love the huge space that I've got in front of me here, so that, you know, I've got plenty of room to do stuff and store stuff, and I can still move things in this van, which is also important. I mean, the seats come out at the back, so I do have the ability to use it pretty much as a full van again, but having that space in the middle is really good. And I've got lashing down points, so it's not like it's unsafe to have stuff in there, because I can load it all down. So that was important. Now, I was just talking to the camera quickly because I wanted to say that obviously there was quite a lot of inspiration for this build. One particular brand, and I'm going to forget what they're called, I think it's Campervan, a German brand that actually do campervan builds out but based on Renault traffic vans, the new model. I came across that, and that really inspired me. That's where I got the ply idea from, and that's, some of the aspects of this come from that, so I'll do a link in the description. But I'm just going to show you what I've done here with the kitchen unit. Now, I will say that this is quite a rudimentary layout, so I'm not a big fan of cooking in my van. So all these camper vans that have got, like, you know, a sink and a 2-hob stove and running water and everything, that just wouldn't be any good for me, because all I want to do inside the van is make cups of tea. That's it, or coffee at the most. Maybe boil up some soup, but I don't want to be doing a fry-up or anything like that. Not in the van, because I have to sleep in it and sit in it, and it's just not what I want. So my idea, again, slightly inspired as well by this other brand, is to have the kitchen unit right next to the door, so that if I want to cook, even if it's raining, because I've got a side awning, even if it's raining, I just basically open the door and I do the cooking in the door opening area, and that means that none of the smell lingers really in the van. And it's not for everybody, but I think it works really well, and it means that you don't have to go out the back of the van every time you want to get a kettle or, you know, get all your gear. It's all inside. The only thing I go out the back for is for the bedding, and really, if I didn't have to, I could just leave the bedding in here and sort of leave it lying about. Wouldn't be a problem, but just to keep it nice and neat and tidy, it's all tucked away. So let me just show you the kitchen area and give you an idea of the concept behind that. So here is the kitchen pod. Now, in here we have the fridge, we have the stove, and we have some utensils, and also we have this this folding door. So this door here, let me just show you, opens up, and in there we've got our fridge, which is, it's a basic fridge, and it's obviously got a basic power input. It's a 12-volt fridge, and we have our drawer, which opens up, so I can run the stove on the drawer system there. I've still got access to things in there if I want them, or I can put the stove on here. That's not a problem, and I can still access it from there. Now, I'll do a better video of this when I'm out on site and I've got the door open. I can show you how everything works, but that is just basically the concept there. So I think it works well, because that's all I want to do. I could run 2 of these if I wanted. They're very cheap, and I've got plenty of room storage. I've got plenty of gas bottles on board, so if I wanted to run 2 to do a proper meal for a family of 4, that is not a problem. So when I use this as a mobile office, or even if I'm just, you know, with people, you can take the front door off here. It just simply lifts up, and this is the drop hinge I talked about. So that just comes off there. There we go. So there we've got the drop hinge there that slots in, and that gives me a really nice workstation, which can be lifted up, drop down. Now there I am, and this works well when I've got my laptop. So basically I'll set my laptop up here, and, you know, I'm good to go. I've got all this space laid out. I've got power sockets underneath. I've got storage here for bits and pieces, but this is a nice layout for that. But again, if I'm having it as a table, a bigger table, I can use the same idea. So basically just simply slide it out, and I'll try and do it with one hand, but I might have to do a cut. There we go. Slots into there. So I've slotted the table now in its sort of dining position, and that's a good table space. And you'll see underneath here, I've actually used the leg from an easel that I purchased from eBay. So I purchased the whole easel for 20 quid. It came with 3 of those legs I can use. And what that does is I can use that leg to extend and actually mount this table here on the outside of the van as well as the inside. And you can see I've got the drop hinges here as well. So I can literally just, again, one hand's not ideal, but we'll have a go. So remove the table, spin round, and we're going to pop it in here. Sorry about the wobbly camera work. So it's in there. Then we get the support leg. It goes in here. And that sits down on there. So you can see again, and that's where I do my cooking. That's where I work from. So if I'm actually going to make food and it's nice outside, we've got the awning above it, we're going to be working there, so it does both. So I think that's quite a nice layout, and I really love the way I've got all that room in there. Got the seat now, obviously with the kids' chair on it, but I've got double seat there, everybody's happy. So basically the swivel chair here is just a base you purchase, and it just raises the seat level up a little bit. It comes with a few bolts. It takes about half an hour to install. These locating bolts here, when you've got this lined up as you should, they drop down like that, and you just twist and turn them into position to lock it. And it's even got a securing pin that goes in there so they can't come undone. So that all sits nicely. But just to show you how easy it is to spin around, you have them all up in that position. Now I'm doing this one-handed, remember. Now the whole base slides all over the place, so you just basically find your sweet spot. You can move it forward, you can spin it around. Look, this is just one-handed. Give it a bit of a turn, and it's done. Like I said, this is a budget build. You could build this, including the cost of the van, for £3 grand. Everything included. It's not hard to do. I'm sure everybody watching this video, if you're into the kind of things that are on this channel, you'll be able to do it no problem at all. And I'll try and run through a few things to give you some pointers. But don't be disheartened by the cost of doing a camper van. You can find a good base vehicle. It's easy to do, and it can fit your lifestyle. If you just, this is a second vehicle for us, basically. I got rid of my car, and this is it. And I love driving it. It's so comfortable to drive. I should have done it years and years ago, but I was too hung up on buying a camper van that could go to North Africa with like 10 people in it and everything else, which I never did. So this, it's small, it's compact, but it's really practical. So thanks very much. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe. Come back, stick your little notification on so you know when I'm going to post again, which won't be too long. I've invested in a drone, so there's going to be some nice footage there. And it's great to be back, and nice to see you all again. So speak soon and look after yourselves.